Joining us now to discuss this is the aged care advocate Ian Henschke. Ian, thanks so much for your time. I was frustrated hearing that answer. Are you? And do you know the answer?
Well, look, we know that most aged care homes have a nurse in them 24/7. I've spoken to a person who's been working in aged care for 40 years and travels around to homes and says that the real issue is having them in every single home. And I think that is what the minister is struggling a bit there with. And she said that the requirement will come in on the 1st of July and then they'll get the data. But look, putting all that aside, if you ask the average Australian, should there be a nurse in a nursing home 24/7, they would say yes. What did the Royal Commission say? There should be a nurse in a nursing home 24/7, a registered nurse. We know that aged care is now seeing people enter at a later and later stage of life with more and more frailty. And aged care homes are becoming more like hospitals and hospices. They are end-of-life care, palliative care, dementia care, with the vast majority of residents having dementia care. And I'm telling you that National Seniors has been talking about this since the day the Royal Commission began, which was back in 2019. So we've had 4 years now, 2 years of a Royal Commission, 2 years since the Royal Commission handed down its findings, and we're still talking about improvements in aged care. But there is some good news. I will give you some good news.
Okay, good. Please do that, Ian, because we didn't get it from the minister last night. And I think, look, the point here is that we all wanted to believe what the government was promising at the time, but always knew it was going to be super difficult to actually achieve. And here we are, a month from the start date, and it's not going to happen. I mean, this is the problem. We need to know what the problem is so it can be solved, not just by government, but by the industry. And instead, what you have is a bit of an arse-covering exercise.
Well, look, putting the politics aside, I go back to that point of we've seen a massive change in the last 2 years, and that change is the good news I want to tell you about, because National Seniors said from day one of the Royal Commission we need to have more home care. The good news is between the time of the Royal Commission evidence being heard back at the beginning of 2019 and today, the number of home care packages has gone from less than 100,000 to now almost 250,000. So there are more and more people staying in their own home, not going into nursing homes. So I imagine part of that is because of COVID. It's also because that's what people say they want to do. So the occupancy rate of aged care has been falling, and the occupancy rate was about 96% when the Aged Care Royal Commission began, and it's down around the 86% mark now. So that's one good thing that's come out of the Royal Commission. There is more home care. And so I think people should recognise that there have been improvements, and also recognise that the vast majority of people are not in aged care homes. They're in their own home. More than 1 million Australians are in their own home. And this is why we say to the government, they need training programs to find more home care workers, and they need specialised training programs for dementia care. And we also do need to have more nurses trained, and we have to have incentives for nurses to work in aged care. And now one of the things that they have done is that they've increased the wages for nurses in aged care. They've increased the wages for workers in aged care. And hopefully, when that comes in on July the 1st, that will encourage people to stay there. We also know that the older workers, most of the aged care workers are now 50 years of age on average. We also know that we should be following the policy that National Seniors have been talking about, which is let pensioners work, because a lot of this work is shift work. In other words, let more people work in their 50s, 60s, 70s, because they can still work in these areas, and let them keep whatever benefits they're getting as long as they can continue to work and pay tax. So there's a number of levers that have to be pulled. But the thing that we've got to remember is, and I heard the renowned demographer Bernard Salt say this the other day, he said we have got an aged care freight train coming towards us, because over the next 10 years, there are going to be more and more people reaching 80 and 85, and that's when you go into aged care.
Well, Ian, it's good to talk to you, and I thank you for the positive news, and thanks for the answers that we couldn't quite get last night. Appreciate it. We'll speak soon.
Well, when they do their first stock take after July the 1st, then we'll have some real numbers. I think those numbers will probably come through around August or September, because they'll have to obviously audit all the homes, and then we might have some numbers. And I look forward to talking again. Thanks again for your time.
Looking forward to it, Ian. Thanks so much.